Welcome to our book reading series, Abraham or the Obedience of Faith. Today, we are going to read Chapter 8, Refreshment Between the Battles. Have you ever had a reason, maybe even a very good reason, to stay out of someone else's mess? Maybe they made their choice. They walked into danger. You warned them, and now they're suffering the consequences. Would you still go after them? Today, we look at a moment in Abraham's life where love didn't play it safe. He could have stayed home. He could have kept his peace. But he didn't, and the world was changed because of it. Let us step into the story. The story opens in Genesis chapter 14, verse 9, with a phrase that sounds simple on the surface, 4 kings with 5. But this wasn't a game of politics or a small-town dispute. This was war. A massive, region-shaking campaign. One of those kings, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, was the Attila the Hun, or Napoleon of his time. He ruled from Susa, far beyond the Tigris River. Long before Abraham set foot in Canaan, Chedorlaomer had already swept through the Jordan Valley, demanding tribute from the cities there. He controlled a critical trade route, stretching from Damascus down to Memphis in Egypt. Among those cities under tribute was Sodom, the very place where Abraham's nephew, Lot, had chosen to live. But as it always goes with kingdoms built on fear, eventually someone says, "No more." The 5 kings of the valley, including Sodom and Gomorrah, rebelled. They refused to keep paying tribute. Chedorlaomer's response? Swift, ruthless, organized. He gathered his allies, 3 other kings from the Euphrates region, and together they crossed the desert, fully armed and completely committed to crushing the rebellion. But they didn't just head straight to Sodom. No, first they ravaged the outer regions of Canaan. They defeated the desert tribes in Bashan and Moab. They cleared every path, isolated every stronghold, and made sure there would be no resistance left standing. Then, finally, they arrived. The kings of the plain tried to fight back. They met the invaders in open battle, banking on their home terrain, tar pits, rocky valleys, uneven ground. But it wasn't enough. Courage alone could not overcome the strength and training of the eastern armies. The cities were plundered, the people were captured, the valley was left in ruins. And among those taken captive was Lot. Genesis chapter 14, verse 12 says, "And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed." But someone got away. A survivor, maybe a servant who once worked for Abraham, made it out. He climbed the hills. He crossed the desert. He made his way to Hebron, where Abraham now lived, peacefully, far from the cities of the plain. And he brought one message: Lot has been taken. This is the turning point of the chapter. Abraham could have ignored it. He had every reason to stay uninvolved. He lived in the highlands, untouched by the war. He wasn't part of Sodom's politics. And after all, Lot chose Sodom, didn't he? Abraham could have said, "Let him deal with the consequences. Why risk my life and my men for someone who ignored wisdom? Let the kings pass. I'll stay safe." But Abraham didn't hesitate. Genesis chapter 14, verse 14 tells us, "When Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them." Why? Because true separation from the world isn't isolation, it's consecration, being fully God's so that you can be sent into the world for His purpose. Faith doesn't make you indifferent. It makes you available. It makes you act. That's what Abraham did. He didn't hold a grudge. He didn't wait. He gathered his men. He called his allies, and he pursued a powerful army with only 318 trained servants. This wasn't bravado. It was obedient love. They moved fast. They reached the enemy near the headwaters of the Jordan River. And in a nighttime attack, strategic, precise, and totally unexpected, Abraham struck. The armies of Chedorlaomer panicked. They fled northward all the way to Damascus, and Abraham brought everyone back. Genesis chapter 14, verse 16 says, "And he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people." This was more than a military win. It was a moral triumph. It was love in action. It was faith clothed in courage. Abraham didn't have to do this, but love doesn't wait for obligation. It moves at the first sound of suffering. Dear friend, what would you have done if someone close to you had walked away from wisdom and fallen into trouble? Would you go after them? That's the heart of this chapter. Abraham could have stayed out of it, but love doesn't play it safe. The life that's truly separated for God is not a life that hides from pain or avoids risk. It's a life that's ready, available, and bold. A life that's tuned to God's compassion and moves when He says, "Go." This story is from the book Abraham or the Obedience of Faith by F.B. Meyer, Chapter 8, Refreshment Between the Battles. If you found encouragement in today's chapter, we invite you to join us as we continue reading, one chapter a day. Every day, we dive deeper into the life of Abraham to learn how faith is formed, how it is tested, and how it endures. So come read with us, be inspired, be challenged, and grow with us on this journey of obedience and trust. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss tomorrow's chapter. We're so glad you're here. Let's keep reading together.